we get to explore with others if the sufficiency of their reasoning matches the confidence that they have in something being true.
Mhm. It's a good year for that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah. I think it's always a good year for that.
yeah, yeah. I wish there was more critical thinking taught,
Yeah, for sure.
as I'm sure you do. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So you live here in Cleveland then?
I live in Brecksville, which is
Okay,
south of here,
cool.
about 15 miles roughly.
Gotcha. You said your name was Dave.
Yeah.
Okay.
So so the first thing, it's you have to pick something that's you believe to be true. Ideally, it should be something that's important to you, right? Something that if you found out that it wasn't true, it would change your behavior somehow.
Hmm.
Uh, it could be about really anything.
Well, the first thing I think of is science,
Oh, wow,
just in general science.
Science?
that's a great one.
What about science?
Just, that I believe it to be true, that I don't think people have a really good grasp on critical thinking
Science is true?
in general. Yeah,
Okay. Science is true. Uh, could I get a quick definition for true?
provable.
Provable. Okay.
Yeah.
Can you think of a statement uh, that you're convinced is true regarding science?
Oh man. Uh,
Because I think of science as
correlation
like a
does not equal
process.
causation is one of my
Say again.
favorites. Correlation does not equal causation.
Okay. Okay. Oh, ooh, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have an example of where this statement would apply?
Well, I usually tell people sometimes that studies show that people who die in airplane accidents, the majority eat pickles.
Okay.
Doesn't mean the pickles cause airplane crashes, but it's
Okay.
a correlation, but it's not a cause.
Okay. Uh, why is science a way to tell if something's true important for you? Like, what about science?
It's measurable.
Okay.
So the whole scientific process is about doing an experiment, trying to repeat it to make sure it's repeatable, make sure the results hold up a second time and a third time, and then examining those results to see, are they is it false? Is the premise false? Is the premise true? And then building on that from there.
Okay. Is there a statement that you can think of that you're convinced is true that you did not use science to determine that it's true?
Just thinking about a relationship that just broke up.
Okay.
Just, you know,
You just broke up with someone?
no, someone just broke up with me. Yeah, a
Oh,
while ago, but that's all right. But God,
So what is true about that
well,
not using science?
what's true is that it's not. I don't want to say it. It didn't work out.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's
Okay.
nothing scientific about it. Feelings aren't science,
Okay. Feelings aren't science.
and they're valuable. I don't say that they're, that they're not. Feelings are valuable, but
Okay.
I hear a lot of people say, well, I don't feel like this is true. Well, so what?
Okay. So it sounds like you're saying feelings are not as reliable as science? I don't want to put words in your mouth. You can
I think
explain that.
feelings are not reliable in terms of what's factual. Feelings are reliable in how, God, this sounds redundant, how you feel and how you approach things in, in well, how we approach things, how you feel about talking to me, I feel about talking to you.
Uh-huh.
Politics is a lot of feelings and not very damn much
Gotcha.
science.
There's like an emotional aspect
Absolutely. Yeah.
to the way people vote and that kind of thing.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
What would be the argument that you've heard that's the most compelling to you uh that someone who says science is not true could give?
I don't know of any because that's such a broad statement. It's not easy to prove a negative.
Right.
In fact, you pretty much can't prove a negative.
So correlation doesn't cause causation. You couldn't prove that either, right? Because it's a negative?
Yeah, correlation is not causation.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is not equal.
So that would be a statement that you could not prove incorrect because it's negative, correct?
I don't know how to answer that.
Okay.
I'm not sure how to answer it.
Okay. Do you have a couple more minutes?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you think of a positive claim that you used science to determine is true?
Yeah. COVID has killed hundreds of thousands of people.
COVID killed hundreds of thousands of people?
Yeah.
Okay.
And there
Okay.
are some good measures for that.
Okay. What is the strongest reason that supports your you being convinced that COVID killed thousands of people?
Testing, manner of death, uh, the cultures, but even more when they look at what's the expected death rate for any particular population, and when they see over a particular period of time that death rate has spiked, and they can attribute that to a COVID-like infection, that tells me that it's probably
Okay.
COVID.
So the proportion of deaths during COVID versus not during COVID?
Right. What's expected versus what actually
Okay.
happened.
That's the strongest reason you
I
have?
think so. Yeah.
Okay. Why is that uh why is that a good reason?
Because they rule out other factors. There hasn't been a
Okay.
sudden spike in airplane crashes, people eating pickles.
Okay.
No, no spike in motor vehicle accidents. They can tell, there's no spike in cardiovascular disease, pulmonary disease.
Okay.
All those are staying steady.
Okay. Um how confident 0 to 100? How confident are you that COVID killed thousands of people?
100.
You're 100. 100% confident. Does that mean you cannot be wrong?
Of course, I could be wrong, but I don't think I am.
Okay. You could be wrong, yet you're 100% confident.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have ways to raise that confidence even though you're at 100?
There probably are some. I just don't know.
Okay. So you're at 100, but you could go higher.
I don't know. I mean, that's like saying I give 110%. Well, you
Right.
can't. So
So are
I
you
just feel pretty confident about
you
that. Yeah.
feel confident?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. How confident should we be about things that we feel confident about? 100%?
In general, I don't 70 because I think it's always wise to question your assumptions.
Okay.
And even the assumption I just made, it's worth questioning.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's the scientific process, is coming up with a conclusion and then question it.
Mhm.
Where are the flaws in it? How do you prove the flaws or not prove them? The kind of thing.
Okay. So is 100% confident the best place for you to be with this claim? With everything that you've said?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything that would cause you to lower your confidence?
The emergence of a new infection on top of COVID, or new evidence that came out that found that it wasn't as lethal as people thought. I haven't seen that evidence yet, but that could do it.
Okay. So this is just hypothetically.
Sure.
I'm not claiming one or the other,
Sure.
but let's say that the numbers of deaths were not correct. Let's say we found that out somehow. Where would your confidence go from 100?
60.
60. Okay. So you'd still be convinced that it's true, you'd just be less confident in the claim that it's true.
Sure.
Okay.
Because again, if there's new evidence, you have to re-examine that.
Okay. All right. So just to summarize, science is true because it's measurable. It's a way to test things out. It's a way to find out if we're wrong.
Yeah.
And it's a statement that you're convinced is true based on science is that COVID killed thousands of people based on the numbers of death versus not having that happen.
Like numbers of death versus expected numbers of death.
Right.
The numbers were far in excess of what was expected
Right.
for any particular population.
We would expect a lower rate of deaths if COVID hadn't happened.
Right.
Right. Gotcha. And you're 100% confident in that.
Yes.
Yet you could be more confident. You just don't know how yet.
I'm not so sure you can get beyond 100%, but yeah. I mean, every bit of evidence just adds to that for sure.
Okay. And you feel 100% confident is an appropriate level based on what you've said.
I think so.
Okay.
I think
Cool. Do you have any questions for me?
So who are you doing this for?
This is for my YouTube channel
Okay.
where we get to explore with others if the sufficiency of their reasoning matches the confidence that they have in something being true.
Mhm. It's a good year for that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's always a good year for that.
Yeah. I wish there was more critical thinking taught,
Yeah. For sure.
as I'm sure you do. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
All
Any
right.
other questions?
Nope.
Okay. Great. Thanks so much
thanks.
for sitting down with us.
Well, thanks for having
Sorry
me.
about
Yeah.
the rain delay.
You're gonna have that.
Yeah.
One of my favorite sayings. You're gonna have that.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
It's really coming down. Do you have something in mind?
Cool. I don't know. I'm a little disappointed. with that one.
It's
What did you think standing where you were? Could you hear everything?
Oh yeah, I could hear. Music was a little bit loud at points, but overall it was good.
What would you have asked? What would you have done there?
It's a really tough claim.
Yeah.
And I actually have prepared for this one in a sort of a different way.
Okay.
Like I don't know if this is all right, and I because it's kind of not SC, but like you just kind of like see if you can poke the topic and like give like counter arguments and see how they respond to it. Which I think is like it is like a critical reasoning test. Like it is like so if you ask some stuff like, you know, scientists' opinions, they change all the time, right?
Yeah.
Like one year they say this, another year they say that. Like, why should we trust this thing that's adjusting it? It's changing its value all the time.
Yeah.
See like how they go with that.
And that's what I was hoping he would maybe come up with on his own when I asked him what if somebody did not believe this, what would be their most compelling argument so that he could come with it. But it sounds like you're saying maybe offer some suggestions that I know of.
Yeah, I have a list of like common claims for like vegans and religion, and I have ones for like I have questions for science people.
Oh, perfect.
Which
Nice.
why do we trust scientists? What's the value of epistemic humility? Like why do we need it? Probably phrase that without less lingo.
Yeah.
Why do we value empiricism? Like what's the connection between like something being true and it being testable? Like why are those two related?
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of went over like why is this topic important to you?
Yeah.
In hopes of maybe getting a more specific claim about something that's meaningful to him that we could explore. I have a problem with the statement science is true.
Yeah.
Because I don't think science is true. I think science helps us come closer to what is likely true.
Yep.
And it's a process, not a conclusion.
Well,
And I was kind of striking out with exploring that.
Yeah. Well, there's two ways that people generally mean by it. On one hand, like when you say science, you talk about the process, you know, the observation and then the testing and all that.
Yeah.
All the Karl Popper stuff. But there, people also refer to science as an institution, a corpus of collected knowledge.
Yeah.
You know, there's all the academic journals that are on the master journals list and the consensus of opinions among them. Yes, they disagree, but there's there's general opinions that are just widely believed. And as like in a form of epistemic humility, we should default to that unless we have similar levels of expertise to the scientists themselves or to the journals, right? So people sort of refer to science as that collection of knowledge as well.
The conclusions that scientists have come to that we refer to as the body of knowledge that we can use to build off other or to build on to arrive at other conclusions.
Yeah. Someone say the science shows this, and then they give some fact. So
and I guess that's what I mean. Like the science shows, or the science points to, or the evidence points to, the process points to X conclusion.
Yeah.
Which the conclusion is what I would see more as likely true or not.
Yeah. I would have had him define science and what he means by it, because like does have those like two sort of definitions, and I'm sure there's more.
Yeah.
And like I had a feeling that he was going to go down he was going to explain science kind of like he was going to explain science as a methodology and as an institution. Like he seemed to know. Like he is a scientist or something of the sort.
That would have been good. That would because I had him define true.
Yeah.
But I didn't have him define science, which was the other main idea in the conclusion.
Yeah. I kind of wanted to tackle that one, but
it was
also really
hard. That would have been perfect.
Like
You even had a list of questions for
I
scientists.
had a list ahead of time.
Next time.
Yeah. See, the next one's gonna be something I don't know.
Well,
Like,
I mean, and that can be, I think that can be better sometimes if you don't
yeah.
know that much about the topic, because you can be more neutral and be more curious, maybe.
What do you think about that sort of idea of just like whatever their opinion is, like trying to like throw some reasons at them and see how they respond? Is that SE? Is that a good idea?
I mean, I guess if it helps them critically reflect on the quality of their reasoning,
Yeah.
it's SE.
I think I like the way I think about it is like there's the SC part, and then there's like an extra credit thing where like I'll say I'm gonna try and throw some arguments at you. I'm
Oh,
just to see how you respond.
yeah,
And
yeah. Assuming that you've built up enough
yeah,
rapport
yeah,
to, because that could be seen as like
combative.
using those points that you've earned, but you have to earn them first.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. Cool. Anything else we want to say about that one?
It was kind of a tough claim. Like it was tough to like follow like what he really meant. Science is true, and then correlation causation. It wasn't very specific. So like, and he started like giving like some examples. I don't know why. With that particular one, I think I would have gone, why is it that we know science is true?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and you,
As
you did
yeah,
ask, like, how would he find out if it wasn't? And he didn't have a good answer. Like, he couldn't think of anything.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
I was disappointed in his 100% confidence.
it seemed, well, you asked him, what you said, he said he could be wrong, but I'm 100% confident.
Yeah,
Maybe you
yeah,
should have
and
done an outsider test there, saying, like, there's someone else who's 100% confident about a different claim.
yeah,
Would they be justified in being so confident?
yeah. Because it seems like an appreciation for science is almost like a recipe for not being 100%. You know, it's
Yeah.
almost like a contradiction.
Yeah. Yeah, because you adjust your perspective to the to the data. Like I think like in his defense, like he could just say like the data is so overwhelming,
Yeah,
like um it would take a mountain to
yeah,
overturn it. Um,
yeah,
like he could say stuff like in quantum mechanics, like they measured like they predicted the size of the particle like on a scale relative to like to the thickness of a human hair relative to like the size of the United States, and say like there's no way that those things are coincidence.
yeah,
You could,
yeah,
so like you
yeah.
could argue that.
Cool. Well, maybe we'll try to get another one.
Yeah, cool, good claim.
That was fun.